My thoughts, my opinion. Sports podcast.
Yo, what it is? Welcome back to another episode of MTMO Sports Podcast, Doug. Yo, this episode is going to be dope, you feel me? Because I have a special guest. He is so special that he has an inspirational story to tell us, you feel me? He is a New Jersey native. He played pro basketball in multiple countries and led the scoring in multiple countries. He's currently playing he's currently playing in Portugal, my bad. And he's also created a non-profit organization to help people in need, man. So no more further to do. I'd like to welcome my special guest, Mr. Eugene Campbell III. Yes, sir. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Just blessed to see another day and blessed to do what I love to do, man.
Ah, man, I'm blessed to have you on this show, man. Like I said, man, I greatly appreciate you joining, man. And I think this is about to be like one of the dopest episodes I ever created, man.
I'm blessed to be here, and I appreciate you for having me, man. I can't wait to tell my story.
Man, that's what's up, man. So you said you currently right now you in Portugal right now?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about that real quick, man. What's the weather like there? How's the atmosphere out there right now? What time is it out there?
So right now it's currently about 1 a.m., but I usually stay up late because I catch my NBA games, so it's not a problem. Um, the weather is beautiful, actually. The weather's been roughly 65 to 70 degrees since I've been here. Even in the winter time, it's still like 62, 63, the coldest. So I completely miss winter. I know, in the East Coast, man, especially Jersey, New York,
Right.
Maryland, Connecticut, it's cold in the winter. Even though I've heard that it hasn't been that bad this winter compared to previous ones. But I definitely miss winter completely. Definitely never had to wear a coat for the last 8 months. Even in Tunisia, when I was playing previously, weather
Uh-huh.
was about the same. So I don't think I wore a coat since 2021. Crazy.
What? And
So,
you gonna come
yeah,
back and wear a coat again?
yeah, I'm coming back to the same weather that I left off at. So, I'm chilling.
I feel you. I feel you. So you said you from New Jersey, from the East Coast, man. Let's tell the people. Let's paint the picture. What it was like to be in New Jersey for you. What was like growing up in New Jersey?
Growing up in New Jersey is definitely the best experience I could have had because it made me the person I am today as far as my mental toughness, just being able to handle a lot of obstacles. Uh, you got to be tough to live in Jersey, especially in the basketball world. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Jersey is very guard heavy when it comes to basketball. There's a lot of guards in Jersey, specifically guards.
Mm-hmm.
If you competing with people at a high level, every day, whether it's an open run or a pro-am or some type of league that you're playing in. It definitely teaches you that grit. It definitely gives you that tenacity and that killer instinct that I carry with me everywhere I go. I carry that Jersey killer instinct in every country I played in. And
Okay, that's what's
it's
up.
definitely heavy. Yeah, for real.
So was it like little leagues, rec leagues, and stuff like that around in New Jersey that you was most definitely in? Like, what drew you into basketball anyway?
I was drawn into basketball by my family. My sister was a high school standout, 1,000 point scorer, and played college as well. She
Okay.
played for Rutgers North University, and my father was a high school basketball player as well. So it was pretty much in my household. And once I picked up the ball, I fell in love with it. I didn't pick up a ball at one point in time. I actually picked up a mitt and a baseball bat at one point, and I stuck with that for a while. But
Trying to
circumstances happened where I wasn't able to play baseball anymore, so I ended up picking up the basketball again.
okay. So was the household competitive? Growing up was you was trying to live up to your sister and your pop's standards growing up.
Yeah, definitely. Like my father, whenever he tried to play 1-on-one with me in the backyard, he didn't go easy on me. He was blocking my layups, stealing the ball from me. I used to cry and get mad because I was so competitive. I'm still competitive. I used to get frustrated. I would cry. My uncle would come to my house and play me one on one, steal the ball from me, block me, put me in the post, and score on me. And I used to get so mad. And it's crazy, right? Crazy story. So my uncle brings this up every time he talks to me, and I'm gonna send him this after we finish. I made him retire from basketball completely. Yeah,
Oh,
he never touched the basketball again. So, like I told you, my uncle used to come over. He used to beat me down, put me in the post, lay
uh-huh.
the ball up on me, steal it from me, block it from me. Man, I held on to that grudge for years, man. I never forget that. So I was probably about 14, 15 years old. He
Uh-huh.
came to the house again. I was working on my game. He wanted to play me one on one. I tore him up. I beat him so bad. He ain't never pick up a basketball again. He quit the game of basketball after that. Gave up. We was just talking about that like a week ago. Yeah, he
Oh
gave up.
man. Man,
Yeah,
quit, man. Oh man. So
quit.
so all right, so you say you was pretty much in high school when you finally beat so what was it like growing up? I mean, what was it like playing in high school level now since you finally beat you feel like you the man now, probably, you probably walking around. I know you walk around the house with your chest poked out a little bit because I know I would. You feel me?
A
But
little bit. Yeah.
so what was it
Yeah.
like in high school playing ball for you?
High school basketball was cool. I didn't play at a high level in high school basketball. I played in the gold division in the Greater
Mm-hmm.
Middlesex Conference, which was actually the worst division in New Jersey basketball, like at that time. So like I didn't really play against nobody. I didn't have no trainers. I didn't even have a coach that cared about basketball. He was a gym teacher. He just cared about getting paid and whatever. So like I didn't have that proper guidance. I actually had like teammate of mine that's actually my best friend to this day. We were
Mm-hmm.
high school and college teammates. He was really good in high school. Like at the time he was in love with the game. He scored 1,000 points. So like seeing him score at a high level definitely influenced me to push my game up a little bit. Even though he didn't play no defense, I was the defender, and he was the one that was scoring the points. So like
Okay.
I started off my career defensive minded and the offense translated as things went on. I was always a good shooter. I wasn't a great ball handler, but I
Uh-huh.
was a defender. I played with tenacity, and I had that dog in me. I had that dog in me since I was a kid. So, all I needed was a little training to get me better. The high school was cool. Definitely learned how to just get confident. I definitely, was thrown in the fire,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to learn and progress. But defensive minded throughout high school was definitely the one that guarded the best players on defense. So,
Okay.
offense wasn't really it at the time.
So did you win any chips in high school, or did y'all make it deep into the playoffs, or anything in that nature?
No playoff experience in the high school level.
Dang.
Under 500 every year. Uh, we lost a lot of games. We sucked. I'm just being honest. We sucked. We had a horrible coach. We had a horrible coach that was a gym teacher. My boy did a lot of the scoring.
Uh
I
huh.
was probably like the second or third leading scorer, even though I didn't even score that much in high school. It wasn't until my last game of my senior year when I went crazy. I like 24 points, and that's when I realized I wanted to play college because at the time I'm like, man, I'm at a tech school. Basketball ain't popular here. They worried about trades. We're a trade school and having like a trade type of job. I don't know if I want to do this. Last game senior year, I went crazy. I probably shot like 60% from the field. Had an amazing game. Felt like the man after that. That's when I realized, yo, man, I might play college basketball. Like, what's up? Like, let's see what it's about. I had zero offers, absolutely no offers from high school, zero. But like
Zero.
I said, I always had that dog in me, and I always had that energy to always strive to reach goals, no matter what obstacles came in my way. So I had to walk on JUCO, you know. And
Okay.
despite
So
my best friend having 1,000 points, he didn't even get no offers like that after high school. That's how bad the division was. So me and him ended up playing JUCO together.
Okay, so now y'all in JUCO. What's the what university is that? What JUCO is that?
Middlesex County College.
Okay, so now
So
what's your experience in JUCO now? How is
definitely
now you trying to
much more.
transition from you said you wasn't that great of an offensive player, but you had that dog in you. So what was like now trying to transition that dog into now trying to be that offensive score or elite score, top score for JUCO now. What is like that transition for you?
So, that summer going into college is when I just started really working on my offense. I just started playing a lot of pickup. Again, no trainers, no resources. Fun fact, never played AAU a day in my life. Never. Never had the resources. Never.
Okay.
Um, so I was just playing at the park, all day. 12 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night every day this summer. So I'm playing at the park, pickup games like crazy. Uh, it's not really like, the most recreation, like the most common thing for people to do, like to progress from playing at the park and playing pickup with randoms. But I was playing against older guys. I was playing against guys who were stronger than me. I was playing against different type of athletes. Guys who like football players that just play basketball for fun. They just play bad defense. I played against people that used to play basketball at a high level and now they just play for cardio. And just playing at the park and just building your confidence and playing against so many different people, it definitely got me better. Now, I didn't have the best IQ, but
Mm-hmm.
that started to develop, over time. But I definitely had that, confidence. I would say playing over that summer gave me a lot of confidence, especially in my offense. My offense game got a lot better. I was able to, start shooting off the dribble instead of just spot up, getting to a little mid range, shooting threes, you know, rip through one dribble, get to the basket, pump it a little bit, Euro step. Started developing my offensive game. So when I came to, JUCO, unfortunately, for my first year there was a guy who was really elite basketball player. He was actually a 1,000-point scorer in 2 years at that JUCO, and he ended up getting a scholarship to play Division two. He was the player that was playing my position, so I was his backup. But I definitely learned a lot from him. He
Mm-hmm.
was very good, and you know, uh, I, I started off like 14th, 15th man off the bench, right? So first game of the season, um, we were actually down by like maybe 6 to 8 points.
Uh-huh.
Coach just threw me in the game because guys weren't, producing, and he threw me in the game, and I scored 10 straight points. Wow, bang, bang, and I
Hey.
was actually on the paper for that. Like, wasn't even a starter, just came off the bench, 14th, 15th man, made the team, but I wasn't really like the first option. Like, like I was, oh, I went through the first five and I went through the second five line and see them make the cuts. And once I got in the game, I proved myself. We went to a weekend tournament in Pennsylvania. Even that
Mm-hmm.
second game, I went crazy. I went from the 14th to 15th man of the roster to the sixth man off the bench for instant offense. I went from a defender in high school to instant offense on some like Lou Williams type, situation in the system that we played in. And I was able to average about 10 points a game my first year off the bench. So definitely learning experience. Uh, One key factor that helped me in my JUCO year, my first year in particular, my head coach was a Division I coach. He coached
Okay.
at Seton Hall University and he coached at
Okay.
Bowling Green. So he had Division I experience and he turned a Division III JUCO into a Division I program mindset. Um, Started doing meal plans, prep for us. We had mandatory weight rooms. We had mandatory study hall. We had pregame meals. We had postgame meals. He treated us like a Division I program, and that definitely helped me with discipline, and it helped me just learn a lot about the game. We did film sessions. A lot of JUCOs don't even do that type of stuff, so he treated it like it was Seton Hall. That definitely helped me, learn the game more and just be more disciplined to handle my academics. Because a lot of people in JUCO, they don't care about school. They're just trying to play and get out so they can get a scholarship. And he wanted us to be young men growing up into the adulthood of the real world and becoming educated as well as athletes. he didn't want to make it all about, basketball. He made us, actually lock in and focus on our academics so we can, have a career outside of basketball just in case it didn't work out. Because the percentage of you going pro is very slow, is very limited. Like, I'm the only person from that JUCO class that went pro, even if I was a point scorer, that I was a backup for. He didn't even go overseas or anything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so literally, it's not very likely for anybody to go professional with basketball. It's not easy. And that was a great coach. I still talk to him to this day. Shout out to Coach Jackson. Great man, great mentor. Um, Arguably my favorite coach of all time, and I appreciate him because he definitely gives me that confidence.
That's what's up, man. So now, and you went from high school, you went to JUCO, you got a lot of knowledge out of that JUCO that can kind of really get you ready for a 4 year college now. So now
Yep.
you taking all this information that your coach just gave you and everything because he gave you pretty much free game. You know what I mean? Gave you the nutrition and the study hall and to get yourself mentally ready to be ready to go to a 4 year college. So now you in a 4 year college. So
Yeah,
what
but before I went to the 4 year college, I actually played there one more year, right? So the second year I played there was the killer year. I
okay.
averaged 17 points a game. I was 17 all conference. I got most improved player. I led the country. I was number three in the country in free throw percentage. I shot 40% from three, and I shot 45% from the field. And I was a full time starter, and I led my team to the playoffs.
Woo, talk your ish.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking
yeah,
about, man. You know what I mean?
yeah. That following year,
That grind, that 1 year right there from your coach gave you that, mentally to go into that second year to get you right. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, yep. Yeah, I
That's
just
what.
had to throw that in there because that was a very important peak of my career. That's what made me confident in playing for this school.
So now you feel like you beating your uncle all over again. You walk around with your chest poked out again. You feel me? So now after you walk around, you go with your chest poked out a little bit. You kind of feeling yourself now. What it was like transitioning to that 4 year college. Now, what university did you attend?
I went to New Jersey City University.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
so after my
what was your
JUCO,
experience there?
uh, uh, humbling experience, 19 years old, and I come there as a junior. My sophomore is 26, junior is like 29. Senior is already in the, like 25, 26. Like I'm like one of the youngest people on the team, and I'm like considered upperclassmen. I'm like smaller than most of the guys. I was always athletic, so my athleticism helped me keep up with the guys. And my shooting ability, my scoring ability was pretty good at the time. So like I was able to keep up with the physical aspect. I would say NJCU humbled me and made me really start locking in the weight room and just really locking in on paying attention to details. I would say NJCU was really elevated my IQ and helped me led me into the professional world of basketball in a sense of like preparing me for the next level. NJCU is is one of the best Division three schools in the country, especially for defense. Shout out to Coach Brown, one of my favorite coaches of all time as well. Defensive minded coach, defense, defense, defense. He switched everything, even if he was guarding a big man. If he was guarding a footer, you had to guard the 7 footer, you had to front the post, each side come and help. It was a crazy system that he wanted a transition, fast paced game and defense. Getting a lot of skills going on transition, scoring the ball, creating offense out of defense. And we had a lot of plays our junior year, at least 15 to 20 plays. So that was definitely a humbling experience. JUCO, I had about 5 or 6 plays, and that was it. And then half of the time, if I was hot, I just did what I wanted. So here I'm in a system where I'm not the man no more. I'm the rebound a lot. Transfer from JUCO, and I have to learn the system that I've never played for before, and I have to learn all of these plays. Definitely was a struggle. I was about the 14th man off the bench my
Mm-hmm.
junior year. I had to literally learn basketball at the next level all over again. So it's definitely a learning experience, a growing experience. I had a few good games, definitely, but I sat the bench a lot of the games for the season. Not the whole game, but I didn't get a lot of playing time. You know, at the end of the day, like I'm proud of my story and I'm proud of what I've become. So I don't have to shame any shame in telling anybody like that I did sit on the bench my junior year of college. Like, it's definitely not embarrassing for me, and it's definitely not something that I'm ashamed of. You know, it is what it is. Everybody learns at different paces. So you gotta. It's about learning and growing from it and keep
Mm-hmm.
pushing forward. I could have easily gave up after my junior year, but you know, I had that fight in me to just keep learning and progressing, and I don't, you know, regret any decisions that I made because look at where I'm at today. You know.
Right. I feel you on that one. So as you was trying to figure your way into this the 4 year now since you in here, you trying to figure out your the offense and how do you fit in mentally. What was you telling yourself like I can still play at this level even though I'm not the top guy, here. How did you stay engaged and what made you stay engaged?
Definitely the relationships that I built with my teammates. We created brotherhood bonds that we still have to this day. I got really
Hmm.
close with my teammates, and I was able to bond with everyone at a different have a different type of relationship with everyone. Also, my college roommate at the time, shout out to my boy Ruben, one of my closest friends as well. He dealt with the same problem as me. He wasn't getting a lot of playing time as well, so we was both going through the same issues, and we kept pushing each other to you know, keep going. And he actually ended up playing professional basketball in Puerto Rico. And he never gave up despite what he was going through too. So, you know, we both have the similar stories of, you know, resilience and just not giving up on our dreams. So definitely personal relationships, personal bonds, and you know, them knowing the potential that I have and them knowing that, you know, I have a chance to be great and just keep sticking to it and don't give up, you know.
Right, right. So did you was you able to graduate from the 4 year college?
Yeah, I was able to get my bachelor's as well as my master's, despite you know my playing time being limited and my time at NJCU.
Hmm.
I achieved academic excellence. I actually graduated my bachelor's with a 3.76. So you know I did my thing.
That's what I'm talking about, man. My man, just it ain't just about sports. You feel me? You most definitely got the knowledge also. So
Yeah.
now you pretty much wrapping up your 4 year college, your 4 year. So now you're trying to transition to pretty much elevating your game, being a pro. What made you actually say overseas was your destination to go?
Well, I just wanted to play professional basketball and get paid to do it. Whether it's G League overseas, you know, those two avenues. NBA was a long shot for me. I had no connection. You know, I graduated I was like 21, 22 years old. If you ain't already in the NBA at 19, 20 years old, it's going to be more difficult. And, you know, I just had to be realistic with myself and understand that there's ways to be professional basketball players without going to the NBA. It's not NBA or nothing. There's other ways you can elevate. So I also wanted to take advantage of my education as well. I wanted to educate myself to a higher level than I already had. That way,
Mhm.
if the basketball didn't work out, I still got the education. So I can push my dreams of becoming a pro basketball player while educating myself as well. So I actually talked to my head coach, and I became the graduate assistant on the men's basketball team. And I was actually part of the coaching staff as well as you know getting my master's degree for free. So I ended up doing a 2 year program at NJCU as a coach, and I achieved my master's degree. And during that time period of me, you know, going for my master's, I was playing in leagues. I was, you know, keeping myself in shape. I was practicing with the basketball team sometimes when they needed exercise, and I started noticing I got so much better. I'm killing these guys now, like you know. and I'm also, working out with the team. I'm also like going to the gym a lot more, and just I started working out with trainers. I started, you know, taking advantage of the resources I had. I had keys to the shooting gun. I had keys to the basket. So I had gym access all the time. More so than when I was an athlete. When I was able to see basketball from another perspective, I helped elevate my game and my IQ. And sometimes I ran practices when the coach wasn't there. Sometimes I helped them with the drills and, you know, um, did a lot of things that I wasn't doing before. I took on a leadership role. Being on the coaching staff, he took on a leadership role. I earned the respect, and I had guys that I played with and guys that are older than me listen to me and respect me because I did a lot of research on the game. And at the end of the day, it didn't matter if I was younger or I played previously for that team. If you know what you're talking about and you know what you're doing, they're gonna listen to you. You just gotta know what you're talking about. And I did my research. I always educate myself and handle my business. And I'm definitely fortunate and I'm definitely grateful to have had that opportunity to obtain my master's degree without paying. Also being on the coaching staff, having coaching experience at the collegiate level on my resume. And just applying that, that could definitely help me out in the future when I finish playing with basketball. You know, having college experience coaching, that
Hmm.
definitely helps.
Okay. Okay. So now, what is your experience like transitioning from U.S. ball to overseas ball? You know, what I mean, it's like I know it's like some particular rules that they have over there we don't have over here. You know, what I mean, like the ball can be on the rim, they can smack it off. It's not called a goaltend over there,
Uh,
but versus over here, it's a goaltend. So, what is your experience like now trying to transition from U.S. ball to overseas ball?
So I definitely had to get used to it. It was a humbling experience in my rookie year. Not being able to call timeout when you got the ball in your hand is crazy. Only the coach can call timeout. You can't call timeout. Also, there's no defense at 3 seconds, so the big man could just sit in the paint all day on defense. And
Oof.
yeah, that was definitely one of the biggest ones. And they quick to call it traffic on the Americans. You can't even do a pro hop doesn't exist overseas without traveling to that. Like the dribble and step over it, like land on both feet, that's a traffic every time. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But the Euro step is allowed, and sometimes those Europeans put the extra step on the Euro step and then leave. So, yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
don't
was just
want
going to say that.
they try to yeah.
I was just going like, what's the difference between the pro hop and the euro, other than you're not actually hopping on a euro. You know what I mean? But I get it. Not really, but um,
Yeah, it's crazy.
so what was like some of the key things that you are now picking up? You know what I mean? That you feel like, all right, I'm gonna add this to my game. I'm gonna add this. So what was the key things that was actually you was actually picking up?
A lot of ball movement, less isolation basketball, fast paced basketball. Um, a lot of pick and roll. Overseas basketball is pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll. Um, that's definitely a key factor that helped me out to become successful overseas. I went from a two guard in my first 2 years of overseas to a full time point guard. So I transitioned my whole game into a point guard. And I've actually been successful. I've led my team to win 8 games in a row at the point guard position. So, you know, with me, it's like any challenge that comes my way, I'm always going to figure out how to accomplish and achieve that. And I'm loving the point guard position. Man. Definitely not an easy position. You hold a lot of responsibility. You hold a lot of weight. I love it, man. Like, I'm not my assist to turnover ratio is like 3 to 4.0 per game. I barely turn the ball over. I definitely handle the ball very well. I work on my head. It's crazy, man. Like my game developed so crazy, man. It's not even funny. Like people, if they see me 3, 4 years ago, they see like that was a whole different player. Crazy. Like definitely proud of myself and definitely seeing the growth over the years, man. And everybody else who knows me and believes in my dreams sees the progress as well. So
So
blessed.
you said you now pretty much like a point guard. So, do you call yourself like the combo guard really now? Because you played pretty much the two majority, and now you're transitioning to a point guard. You're more like that Steph combo guard, or more of like a Donovan Mitchell type combo guard.
I would say more like the Steph, because I could also like run off screens as well. I play better defense than him. So, but, that's on the defense. But I would say more like Steph. Um, shoot if you go under the screen. I just read the defense. Shoot if they ice it, put them on my hip, find the roll man, floaters, uh, drive the kick to the corners. Um, read and react. So trap the screen, tell the big man to slip. Like reject the screen if you overplaying it. Just reading the game, man. I did so much film study and so much training. It just comes second nature to me. I know what the defense is gonna do before they do it. I know they're gonna foul very well. Actually, number two in this league in free throw percentage. Um, just
Okay,
reading and reacting. You know,
right. So you say you more like Steph. Can you shoot like Steph now? Are you more of a Chris Paulish? You know what I mean? I look to get my guy first, then I score. Or what I mean, you do more of a I bring the ball down, I can dish it off. I'm gonna do my runs through screens. You know what I mean? Which now let's get a little deeper. Which point guard that you actually put yourself in?
I would say I'm not Drew Holiday and Giannis is
Ooh,
not.
like
Yeah,
that one. I like that one. Okay. Drew Holiday. He's more of a defensive first guy, but he most definitely can get you that tough buckets. He can play bully ball down in the post. Is that more of your game,
yeah.
or you're more of the
Actually, no, I can't. I can't compare myself to Drew in that aspect. Yeah, like I would say it depends on the system because I got a crazy post game, but this coach is weird with that. We don't have point guards post up. Like, I don't know.
right?
It's weird. But I would say like if I'm back home and I'm playing like like with my guys and I'm playing pro runs or whatever, yeah, I would consider myself similar to that.
Okay.
Uh, it's weird. I would say I'm like a mixture of a whole bunch of different players. I wouldn't say it's one particular player that I play like. Because like Rondo is my favorite point guard of all time, but I do have some Chris Paul like type of game as well as like Jamal Crawford, as well as like Drew Holiday. Uh, not really too much of Steph Curry. Like when you was to compare that to a Donovan Mitchell, I would say I'm more like a Steph Curry, but like I wouldn't consider myself really a Steph Curry.
Right.
Uh, hmm, I'm trying to think who I would compare myself to. Like in the way I play, I would say C.J. McCollum. To be honest, that would be the closest thing. That would be the
Okay.
closest thing, and the reason why I say that is because he was a two guard and he transitioned to a point guard in New Orleans and that's definitely very similar to my career. So I would say literally TJ McCollum because I could kill you in the mid range, but I could
Mm-hmm.
also kill you with the three ball too. But I could literally kill you with the mid range. Like I would disrespect you with the mid range.
Right.
Um, that's definitely one of my bread and butters, the mid range pull up. But I can also shoot the three ball at a high clip.
Okay. CJ
And I would
McCollum.
say like
That's my
I'm not the
guy.
most athletic. I'm not the most athletic. Like CJ's not the most athletic. But yeah, I could dunk. Like if I get a fast break dunk, I'm dunking it. But like I'm not the type of guy that's gonna put it on your head. I'm just gonna lay it up on you or do a floater or create the contact for the foul. I keep my game real simple. I don't try to do too much, and I know how to change my pace. Yeah, CJ McCollum, perfect example. People
Okay.
actually say that I play like him before I've heard that. So yeah.
It's not a bad comparison, honestly. CJ McCollum is actually my guy, man, and I was actually rooting for New Orleans this year because of CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram. Those two, I believe, those two is a great combo that should be up and coming soon. I mean, hopefully they can get more games together. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah,
now
Zion stay healthy, hopefully.
we don't want to talk about
Yeah.
that, man, because I had visit Zion to be like the Sean Kemp 2.0 a little bit.
Yeah.
So now, like I said, you overseas and stuff. So, what are some of the challenges that you are facing overseas being an American?
Not seeing my family. You know, that's definitely a big one. I'm very close to my family. I'm very close to my mom, my dad, my sister, and you know, my friends back home. And not seeing them is definitely a difficult thing. And you know, I went from one country to the other, so I didn't really get a chance to go home. But I picked up for another job. So that's really the biggest thing. I'm a very family oriented person. So not being around my family or friends for such a long period of time does, you know, weigh a heavy toll on me at times, but you know, I keep faith, I pray, I meditate, I go to the gym, and I keep my mind focused on the goal. Because at the end of the day, yeah, I'm missing out, but I'm doing things that I told myself I was gonna do. And this is what
Mm-hmm.
I signed up for, this is my career. So I gotta do what I gotta do. I got the whole summer. You know, I'll be home next month and I got the whole summer, you know, with my
Okay.
family and my friends. You know, I'm not really missing out. Ain't nothing crazy going on that I'm missing out on. I'm doing what I need to do for my future. So
So when you made your decision to say, you know what, I'm gonna take my talent overseas, you know what I mean? How was the reaction of your family? Was they supportive? Was like, oh man, don't do that. You stay here and fight it out. Or you know what I mean? What was like that? What was their reaction of your decision?
they actually boosted my. They actually was preparing for me to go overseas before I even knew I was going overseas. My mom got my passport for me when I was like 17 years old. And I was like, what you give me a passport for? She was like, you know, I feel like you're going to play overseas, so I'm just giving you a passport just in case it happens. So my mom already knew, you know, that it was going to happen. You know, she
Right.
was saying that to me at a young age. So she seen something that I didn't even see at the time. And my dad always told me to keep going, you know, keep fighting. My grandfather, before he passed away, told me that, you know, I'm gonna make it one day. Too bad he didn't get to see me, you know, make it, but you know, he's still watching over me, and I definitely had a great support system in my process and my journey. Mom, I'm going to the gym. Mom, I'm going to work out. Mom, I'm doing this. And she knew I was locked in, and she knew I was focused on making it happen. So when it actually happened, they were very happy for me, and they were very supportive of my dream. And they watch all my games. So you know, whenever they got time, they'll stay up late or they'll wake up early and they watch my games. So I have a great support system from my family.
That's what's up. So do you how often do you talk to your family? Do you talk to them every day? Once a week, once you know, what I mean, how often do you really, you get the chance to talk to them?
I would say at least 3 days a week I talk to.
Okay. So y'all
I
you
talk
make
to
sure
them
you
pretty
keep in
much.
touch.
Yeah, I talk to them at least every day or every other day. I talk to my mom, my sister, and my dad today. So, you know, I definitely communicate with them well. I FaceTime my dad, you know, he's really close. So, you know, it's just, they understand that, you know, I got a lot going on over here and they got a lot going on where they're at. But, you know, we're family. So, you know, we got to talk, we got to catch up. You know, you're feeling down, talk to one of your family members, it can make your day. You never know. You know, got to stay in touch with family, very important.
So, like you say, you're a real family oriented guy. I mean, you having a tough day in Portugal. Team just lost. Um Kind of frustrated. You need to talk to somebody out of who's the first person you calling out of your family once you feeling, that type of way.
Probably my dad, because you know he's more of the sports person. My mom never made any sports team and never tried to make any sports team. She was more like a support system person, and she
Mm-hmm.
definitely I get my dog from my mom. My mom had my sister at 16, and you know she didn't drop out of high school, and she was able to get her college degree despite a lot of odds against her. A lot of people doubted her, and a lot of people said she wasn't going to make it because she had a kid so young. And my mom doing her thing, man. She got a really good job. She's making really good money, and she's happy, and she made it out. You know, so I get a lot of my mental toughness and a lot of my grit from my mom. I get my competitiveness and you're not about to disrespect me and get away with it from my dad. I get my think about the situation before you know react from my sister. You know, I definitely learned a lot from you know my family. May not be everything from one person, but I got bits and pieces of my personality and the way I am from you know different family members that made me. You know,
Right. I feel you on that one, man. I most definitely feel you on that. like I said, you have your family back here. Do you plan on playing taking your talents back to the US? Like plan maybe going for an NBA team, going try out for the big three or that T Mac league, the OBL league. Have you considered any of those leagues, what I mean, or you feel like you're gonna have your remainder of your career staying overseas?
If I'm gonna be honest, I like the overseas life, man. And at the end of the day, whatever opportunity comes my way, I'm not gonna shy away from it, especially if it's gonna benefit me in my future.
Mm-hmm.
But I like feeling like a celebrity out here. I like being low key. I like the love I get from the fans and the international love, man. Especially in the last couple of countries I played in, man. It's love, man. It's a lot of love. It's a lot of freedom, you know. Also, I like learning about new cultures, new
Mm-hmm.
languages. I like traveling. I like the feeling of traveling. I get to travel for free. I get to, go to these countries, meet with people, learn experiences that create memories that have a lifetime experience for me. You know, it's not only about playing for FIBA, international basketball. It's
Mm-hmm.
about the experiences too, man. You meet so many people from these countries that have similar backgrounds and similar mindsets as you. And they from the other side of the world. It's so crazy how the world is.
Okay, that's what's up. So, since you feel like I mean, you stand where you at overseas. You feel me? What is your career high? Over and what country you did it in?
My career high is 57 points my rookie year in Moldova. Like 57, like 12 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
Just killing, man. From the first quarter, the three ball was all net. The second three ball was all net. Got an and one, caught a dunk. I was like, oh yeah, my legs feel good. It's gonna be hard to stop me. Who's just backing up now because I'm just going past them getting to the rack. Started getting double teamed at one point, so I started focusing on rebounding the ball. And then once they let off me a little bit, started scoring again. See, one thing about me, like I don't just rely on my scoring, man. If one aspect of the game is, more difficult for me to do, there's so much basketball. Like you can pull up a stat sheet by getting assists. All right, you're playing double now. So now I find the open man. I can put it over, shot the screen, boom, hit the shooter. Go after offensive rebounds and create offense off of that. A lot of people score off of outworking the other person, like just hustling and
Mm-hmm.
getting the rebound, putting it back up, or get the rebound, kick it out to the shooter, getting assists. It's all about being effective and helping the team win. Like scoring is there, but you don't have to be scoring for the team to win. But that particular game, I was just feeling it, man.
So now that you pretty much been playing basketball majority of your life now, where you said you started out as a defender. What I mean? That was your strong suit. And then now as you elevated your career as into a offensive player. What is your strongest suit now? Is it still defense or offense has become your stronger to your game?
I would say it's pretty balanced, but I'd say it's a little bit more offense now. But I would say this year definitely defense picked up a little bit more. My rookie year, I didn't really have to play too much defense, but like this year in particular, I definitely had to play a lot of defense. So I would say right now it's balanced, but the offense is definitely strong. It's slightly stronger on offense, just a little bit, just a little bit. It depends on what the team needs you to do. The team needs you here to score a little bit more. So I'm just doing what they ask me to do. But it all depends on the system.
Mm-hmm.
Put it that way. I'm a chameleon. I never got sent home. Knock on wood. For playing overseas, I always get picked up and I usually stay. Um, I blend in with the system and I do what the team needs me to do to win. And we
Okay.
win. We win.
Right.
Figure it out.
So now like you said, you deep into your pro career and who is there anyone that you idolize or that motivates you to advance your game?
Yeah, very, very close family friend of mine. Kenneth Fareed talks to him every single day. It's my guy. It's my brother, man. Uh, his work ethic, growing up with him, I knew him since I was like a little kid, you know. My dad and his dad are very close friends. Like he's like a cousin to me. His dad is like my uncle. You know, I grew up with him
Mm-hmm.
before he was even in the league and all that. Just watching him progress his game and watching what he's done over the last, you know, decade, um, NBA career, even now playing in the G League, definitely an inspiration, as far as like work ethic and, going out there getting it. Like I said, I talk to him every single day. He always, uplifts me, motivates me. He's definitely somebody that, kept me sane during this overseas, season for sure and previous one. We have a very, very close relationship.
Okay, that's what's up, man. I'm glad that you know either your support system is still big but small. You can I mean outside of your family, you still have somebody that you can still lean on, idolize, talk to, and say, hey, what's your opinion on this, and how should I get through that? What I mean, because having a great support system is most definitely big, especially now that you're not here. I mean, you're most definitely on the other side of the world and trying to figure out, your lifestyle and with people supporting your lifestyle, that it goes a long way. What I mean? That it most definitely will keep you, motivated and focused and determined, what your next goal is. Speaking of next goal, do you feel like once you're done with your pro career, do you feel like you're gonna be coaching? Because you said you got that
Definitely,
1 year coaching underneath your belt. So do you think you will be coaching anywhere, or you feel like you want to
yeah,
coach anywhere?
definitely. I definitely want to coach. Coaching those 2 years at NJC definitely helped me realize that it's something that I will definitely be good at. I've I've started like my own basketball tournaments. I've done basketball showcases that help kids get scholarships and get exposure to possibly play at the next level. And I've coached those teams and I've done a phenomenal job coaching. I coach kids. I've done basketball camps. I did a 76ers basketball camp back in 2017
Mm-hmm.
and did a pretty good job. So I want to definitely get into that when I finish playing basketball and just also growing my nonprofit organization as well. And seeing the growth that it's had over the last couple of years, um, I can see it being very special and very big in the next couple of years as well. So
Okay. Okay. So before we get to your non profit organization, I gotta pick on you on a couple of things. You feel me? Gotta pick on you. I ain't gonna let you go too easily. What I mean, I'm a competitor myself. You feel me? I'm a Laker fan. I'm pretty sure you didn't see me in my stories posting about my Lakers, and I see that you're a Boston Celtic fan. And
yep, yep.
so what made you become? When did you become a Boston Celtic fan, and what made you stay a Boston Celtic fan?
Favorite player of all time, Paul Pierce. Um, I seen Paul Pierce when I was very young, and I
Okay.
knew the first basketball game I ever watched was the Celtics versus the Cavaliers, and Paul Pierce was just killer, and he gave LeBron that work. It was like LeBron's first or second year in the league, man, and I like LeBron, but he gave LeBron that work, and I just love. I just love his competitive spirit. I'm an underdog. I got an underdog story.
Mhm.
Paul Pierce is the truth, but he was an underdog. Like people didn't give him that respect that he deserved. And he was killing amongst the greats. He killed Kobe, he killed LeBron, he killed a lot of good, like great basketball players. Carmelo, like he matched up with the best players of all time
Mhm.
and held his own and won. And he was my motivation to believe that it's anything is possible. And I was with him in the Delonte West days, the young like the Michael Peters and all of that. Hamilton, when they used to lose all their games, they didn't even go to the playoffs. The Paul Pierce was averaging like 26 points a game. It wasn't until I was in like fifth grade they announced that Ray Allen and Garnett was coming to Boston, man. I was excited. I'm like, yo, this is finally what, Paul Pierce needed to get him the championship. These are the pieces he needed. This is Garnett's, coming to the end of his prime, and so is Ray Allen. They're still very, they're still in their prime, but they're coming to the end of it, and they still got that grit. And they both haven't won a championship, so they want to win. And
Mm-hmm.
then, they brought in Eddie House, they brought in Sam Cassell for experience. They brought Kendrick Perkins. Well, Kendrick Perkins was already drafted, but that's when he became a starter, and they put the pieces together, and was able to beat Kobe, take that sixth ring away from Kobe. R.I.P. to my brother, man. But you know, we prevented him from getting that six. You know, Lakers fans still don't like that. I mean, y'all beat us on the second one,
Like I said,
so
we got you on the
we had to
second
do.
one. We got you on the
Yeah, yeah,
comeback
for
tour.
sure. I mean, it took 7 games though, but and Kendrick Perkins got hurt. That definitely played a big role
No,
in it. We had Rasheed Wallace starting at the
no,
center position. Rasheed Wallace was a little
no.
older, and he wasn't your average center that can lead a team to a championship. We needed Kendrick Perkins, but shout out to Kobe, shout out to Pau Gasol, shout out to Andrew Bynum Jersey, shout out to Lamar Odom, Derek Fisher. Great championship. It was a great series,
Mm-hmm.
arguably one of the greatest series in NBA history, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
with you on that one.
Definitely fun to watch. Yeah. Very competitive. Um, every player played both ends of the floor. Everybody wasn't just offense. Everybody was defense. Like, it was exciting to watch from start to finish. Every game, kept you on your toes. Whether you was a Boston fan, whether you was a Lakers fan, whether you was just a fan of basketball. That's before all the fan doing and all that too. So everybody's just watching basketball. You know.
Right, right. So let's talk about your Boston Celtics right now. And I had DM'd you. You was like Celtics in five. Once you seen that what's my man Murray had was getting suspended. I was like, I ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I mean? I'm gonna let you get this one because I was rooting for Boston. I was rooting for him. But Trey Young
Hmm.
has something different to say. You know what I mean?
He
And
did.
and he changed the whole narrative of this playoffs now. Um,
Nah, he did. He definitely played very well. But I'm gonna say this though, Jason Tatum had a bad game. Jason Tatum didn't show up how Jason Tatum normally shows up. Had he shown up, that would never happen. But Trae Young had a phenomenal game.
mhm.
I hope he enjoyed it. It's over. Okay, that series is done. Yeah, it's over. I hope he enjoyed it. Though. It didn't matter if DeJounte Murray comes back. That series is done.
oh, oh, what you
Um,
with that one?
yeah, because Tatum's not gonna have a bad game like that 2 games in a row. Jalen Brown's gonna do what he's supposed to do. Malcolm Brogdon's gonna come off the bench and do what he does. Derek White's been playing phenomenally. They have a hard time stopping him. Uh, we have a really good coach, even though he's young. He's gonna make some adjustments, and we're gonna figure it out.
So speaking of a couple of things, you mentioned down the stretch. Do you think Marcus Smart should be in the lineup, or you think Malcolm Brogdon? Because my opinion, I think that was the reason why Boston brought in Malcolm Brogdon. I felt like he should be the guy that should have the ball in his hands, coming up court just to give to Tatum and not Smart. What's your opinion on that?
If I'm gonna be honest with you, Malcolm Brogdon is definitely more efficient than Marcus Smart, and definitely controls the offense a little bit better. But if I'm gonna be honest, as a Boston fan, Marcus Smart is the heart and soul of the Celtics. He brings that grit that you need to start the game with. So I agree with you, but you need Marcus Smart to start the game. Even if Malcolm Brogdon ends up playing more minutes than Marcus Smart, you need him to start the game with that energy. He brings that intensity that Boston needs, and he's been doing that for years. Boston has been a playoff contender even before Malcolm Brogdon came to Boston. He's been to conference finals. He's been to the playoffs every year. He just went to the NBA finals and won the East last year with Marcus Smart as the starting point guard. So I don't think he's the problem. I'm pretty sure Malcolm Brogdon embraces his role as the sixth man. He just won six man of the year. It's not like he's
Mhm.
not playing. You know, that was the same thing with the Warriors with Jordan Poole. A lot of people felt like he should have started over Klay Thompson, but like Klay Thompson got hurt. He tore his ACL and his Achilles in the same year. How do you expect
Mhm.
somebody to come back from those fatal injuries and be back to the way they was immediately? Kobe literally ended his career early because of Achilles tear. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it goes hand in hand, but at the end of the day, like you can't you can't knock Brogdon for being what he being the player he is and what he's doing, but we gotta also respect the fact that Marcus Smart been doing what he's been doing for years, and he created a huge fan base for Boston, and they have a lot of respect for what he does for the program. You know?
Right. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe Marcus Smart's the start. I just think at the end of the games, I think Brogdon should be the guy that's pretty much handling the ball or running the offense
Yeah,
a little bit
yeah,
to give it to Tatum. You know,
I
because
believe so.
like I said, like you keep Marcus Smart in the lineup. I think Boston might have to go small sometimes. You might have to
Yeah,
take Horford out or Robert
off it out.
Williams out
Yeah.
to have that Brogdon, Tatum, Brown, and Smart type of lineup.
You
I
know what's
think that could
weird?
work.
I feel like they gotta play Grant Williams more. He played a big role in the playoffs last year, and I feel like this year in the playoffs, they haven't really played him much.
See, I think Grant Williams shot himself out last year. I think we seen not the discredit him enough. I believe he has the potential to his game to grow, but he didn't in his short time as the starter or in the rotation. He hasn't really progressed. You see people like a Desmond Bain, who's like almost like his type of player, has kind of progressed now. Now Desmond Bain can put the ball down and drive to the basket instead of being a catcher shooter. And I think that's where
Mhm.
Grant Williams had to transition his game at to now stop being a
Yeah,
catch and shoot shooter and actually learn how to put the ball down. And I think he
yeah,
will see more time on the floor if he
yeah.
was able to transition his game to like that.
I would like to see him play more because he helped us a lot, man. In that Buck series, he was a big factor in that series.
So do you see Milwaukee is also in trouble?
They in trouble. Now listen. You can sit here and say Boston is in trouble. Nah, Milwaukee is in serious trouble. 'Cause that man
So
Jimmy Butler is
he is
man.
he is Jimmy Buckets right now.
He just, I think he just put himself in the chamber before the playoffs. He be on chill mode in the regular season, and he just
Uh-huh.
help his team win. He like, you know what I'm saying? I don't care about being the leader scorer. I don't care about that. I just want to win games. Let's just win these games, get in the playoffs. Man, when that playoffs comes, Jimmy Butler turns into an MVP candidate. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's like he got the game starters on in the playoffs. Yo,
He drunk that
yo,
Jordan juice in the playoffs off of
yo,
Space Jam or something.
something because even last year, yo, we almost lost to Miami in the conference finals. Yo, he was wild. I'm
So
like, yo, we had the best defense in the league at last year, and we still couldn't stop him. He was going crazy.
right. So if Milwaukee get eliminated, who do you see is in Boston way? Let's assume that Atlanta don't sneak y'all either. Let's assume that. But if Boston get
Man,
past
hey,
Atlanta, Boston get past Atlanta, and Milwaukee get knocked out, who do you fear in the East now that feel like Boston gonna have trouble with?
definitely the 76ers, man. They got a tough squad. If we get past them, I feel like we definitely going to the championship. I'm not worried about the Knicks, nor am I worried about Miami. Um, this Miami team doesn't have Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero definitely is the number
No,
two
yeah,
option on the Heat. With him, the Heat are very dangerous to match up against the Celtics. But without him, I feel like Boston could beat them in like 5, 6 games. I'm not gonna say a sweep. Jimmy Butler's gonna go crazy, but um, we're gonna put Jalen Brown or Marcus Smart on Jimmy Butler, slow him down a little bit. They're not really a good 3-point shooter team, especially without Tyler Hero in the lineup.
hmm
Duncan Robinson can shoot threes, but he's a horrible defender. So if he gets on the court, we're just gonna get a switch on him, an ice on him, and Tatum and Brown and kill him. So I don't think they would put him in the rotation as much. They got the dude Spruce or whatever his name is. He can shoot the ball very
Right.
well. He's a definitely a deadly shooter. Also with him, he's not a good defender. Uh, I don't think Al Horford will have too much of a hard time with Adebayo, especially he was guarding Giannis last year in the in the semifinals, and he was playing a really good job on Giannis. Hey, Al Horford was doing his thing on defense against Giannis.
Right.
Um, I feel like it's gonna be a tough series, but I feel like if we ended up playing Miami, we beat them in 16. Uh, the Sixers is definitely gonna be a big matchup. Embiid is definitely a very skilled big man. We got to develop some type of game plan against him. Harden is a turnover machine in the playoffs for the last like 10 years, so I think we're gonna turn him over. I don't think he's the opposite of Jimmy Butler. He's a regular season standout, and in the playoffs he plays like a recreational basketball player. So we'll see what
Mhm.
happens. Um, year after year, Harden just in the playoffs is not the same. I don't know what's up with him. He's one of my favorite players too. Like,
Yeah,
I love
mine's
his
too.
offensive game. I love his offensive game, but it's like, yo, the playoffs, it's like he a whole different player. I don't get it.
Yeah, Hard is one of my favorite players too. You know me, with my little hooping skills that I have, I kind of pattern my game off of Harden a little bit. You know, between the legs, step back, the
Uh,
actually play bully ball once I can get down into that Euro step in the paint and stuff like that. So I
yeah.
kind of pattern my game off him. So Harden is my favorite, one of my favorite players right now. You know, Kobe is my all time favorite player. Um,
I already knew that based off of the reaction about the chip and '08. I already knew that. True Lakers fans are Kobe fans. This new generation of Lakers fans forget about Kobe somehow and talk about LeBron too much. And it's
nah,
like, yo, man, Lakers wouldn't even be the franchise they was today if it wasn't for like Kobe and Wilt and Magic and like you talking about Braun. He brought them one bubble ring. I respect it, but it's like, what about the stuff that Magic did? What about the stuff Kobe and Shaq did and Wilt and all of them? You know what I'm saying? Like, I
yeah,
forget
I'm
about
with
all
you.
that.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong. I give all respect to Braun. You know, what I mean,
yeah.
I was kind of happy that he came to be a Laker, but I had to choose. I'm choosing Kobe over him always.
Yeah, Kareem, like, come on, like, we talking about. I don't know. These Lakers fans now, like, not saying you, they're just delusional. LeBron. You
Right,
know what Kobe did to this franchise?
right. So, do
And
you
he's
see
doing
Boston
magic.
getting a chip this year?
Uh,
And if you do, who do you see them playing in the finals this year?
Now, I'm just being realistic, yes. And I'm not saying it because I'm a Celtics fan. Out of all the teams in the East right now, and I'm only going to speak on the East, we have the healthiest team. Now, I'm going to knock on wood because it's a long series in the season. We have our complete roster. Robert Williams III is healthy this year. You
Finally.
know, everybody is healthy. So I believe that we can make it out of the East again as
Hmm.
long as everyone stays healthy. The Hawks are not as bad as people think. Everybody thought it was going to be an easy series. I never thought it was going to be an easy
I
series.
did.
That's not a bad team. That team is not bad. I'm telling you, Trey Young is getting better every year. He's definitely a very good point guard. He's hard to stop. Um, he plays very well in the pick and roll. You got to think
Mhm.
about what he did. What was a couple of years ago? I think they beat Philly. Like
Right.
they beat Philly with Trey Young. No Dejounte Murray, just Trey Young, Clint Capella, and John Collins beat Philly. You know,
Yeah.
um, so I strongly believe Boston can make it out of the East. I feel like it's going to be difficult in the finals, depending on what team in the West we play. Because the West is tough this year, like really tough. You got the Suns, you got the Nuggets with a healthy Jamal Murray this year. You know what I'm saying? You got the Lakers. It's going to be tough. So right now, I'm just going to say I strongly believe we can make it out of the East.
All right. Who's your prediction? Who's your finals prediction? Then? Who you think Boston will see in the finals?
I don't know. I think the Suns got to play the Nuggets. Oh man, that's gonna be a good series. Devin
Hmm.
Booker's been playing at a very high level right now. The Nuggets been playing really good. Jamal Murray looking like the Jamal Murray from the bubble. Um, the Lakers series. I don't know why I'm not worried about the Lakers as much as I'm worried about the Nuggets. I don't know. Like, yeah, the Lakers are really good. Look, like the Lakers is good, yo, but the Nuggets look really good out there. And I'm not gonna say nothing yet because they did play against the Timberwolves, so like
Mhm.
it wasn't really that fair. But depending on how, all right, I'll give you an answer. You my guy, and we follow each other, so I'm gonna give you an answer like next week after that Nugget series and that Lakers series is done. I
All
can't
right,
give a
say less.
definite answer, but I'm gonna say like if I could pick two teams, I would say the Nuggets and the Lakers. I'll be worried about them for matchup probably.
Okay, okay. So hopefully it be my Lakers, so I can trash talk. You know what I mean? I like doing my little trash talk. You feel me?
Listen, that's the fun. No, no. If I could choose being biased, who I want to play in the finals, I want to play the Lakers. I want to play the Lakers 100%. I think that would be a very, very, very good series, and that's a classic. That's a classic rivalry that's been going on for decades. So, like, if I could choose, it would be the Lakers.
That, that. So
You know
hopefully
what I'm saying?
we,
LeBron, Tatum. That's a good series, man.
yeah, that'll be a good,
That's
that'll be a
something
good
that,
series.
yeah, that would go to Game Seven. I would, if I would be honest. That would definitely go to seven.
Oh yeah, most definitely because we owe y'all a get back game for Tatum fouling Braun on that Christmas Day,
Oh
and you
yeah,
got my man over there
yeah, yeah.
hyperventilating and stuff like that. Man, got my man
Yeah, he was going.
snot
Nah,
coming out his
LeBron was
mouth.
going crazy. That was crazy, yo. I'm like, come on, relax, bro. Like, yeah, he missed the call, but relax, yo. He was going crazy. They made memes out of that and everything.
Right. Let's switch gears real quick, man. You also keep it in the Boston atmosphere when it comes to NFL. Also, I just don't know why,
Yeah,
but you know what I mean. You also a New England Patriot fan. Like,
yes, sir.
how the hell did that happen, man? Because
I would say, all right. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I was like a little kid, very small, and my first Super Bowl ever was watching the Patriots versus the Eagles when Donovan McNabb was playing for the Eagles. I forgot what
okay,
year that was. I think it was '03 or something
that
like
was
that.
like yeah, that was about like 03, 04.
Yeah, that was my first time ever watching the NFL. And Tom Brady was killing, man. He was bad. Man. I was telling my dad, I like this team. I like the Patriots. My dad, like you a bandwagon fan. And I was always called a bandwagon fan because I started liking the Patriots when Tom Brady and during the Tom Brady era in the beginnings of the Belichick Tom Brady and they won the
Oh
championship
my
game.
God!
Yeah. So I was a bandwagon fan, but I was like 6, 7 years old. Like
Right.
I don't know no better. But my dad stopped calling me a bandwagon fan because I ain't never stopped being loyal to them to this day. So I've been a fan with the Patriots for over 15 years through wins and losses. We done had some bad seasons over the last couple of years, and I'm still a fan.
Right.
So at this point, people can't say that I'm a bandwagon fan because I've been with them through thick and thin. Even when Tom Brady left, I didn't become a Buccaneers fan like everybody else did. I stayed
Damn
a
true.
Patriot. I
That is
stayed. I
most
like Cam Newton. I like Cam Newton. I was pretty upset when they got rid of him, but it is what it is. I feel bad for Cam because he was a great quarterback. He had potential to be, one of the best. Definitely like a Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick type game, but much stronger. And I don't know. Mac Jones, he's pretty good, but I don't think we ever get another Tom Brady. That's greatness that doesn't really come too often. I know a lot of people are happy he's retired. A lot
I'm
of
one
people
of
are happy
them.
that he's retired. My dad absolutely positively hates Tom Brady with a passion. He hates. And when he retired, my dad was so happy. He was so happy.
Speaking of your dad, speaking of your pop, you done told me something, man, and I couldn't believe it, man. Pops, I'm sorry if you watch this interview, man. I can't believe that you a fan of this team, man. But he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I'm trying, and I that word coming out my mouth just don't seem right. You know what I mean? But him being a Steelers fan, I know he was mad when you found out that he was you was a Patriots fan. I know he was just like
Yo, he was
what?
devastated, man. He had me dressed in the Steelers clothes when I was a baby and Cordell Stewart jerseys and like try to get me to wear Franco Harris jerseys and take pictures. And when I became a Patriots fan, my mom got me that Tom Brady jersey for Christmas. He was upset. And he was upset. And that's before that rivalry started with the Ravens. But my dad hates the Ravens. He hates the Ravens because they always he says this all the time, and I can't wait for him to watch this. He's like, yo, the Ravens, they play mediocre against every team. As soon as they play the Steelers, they play like it's the Super Bowl.
That
Yeah.
hey, we say the same thing about them Steelers fans. So pops, it feels it's the same feeling as down here. You know what I mean? You just come on over, pops, man. I don't know why you a Steelers fan, man. Just come on.
He would never change into a Ravens fan. He would never. He got a yo. If you walk in my house, my dad got a whole Hall of Fame hallway of Steelers gear. I'm talking about cards, uh, football collector items, jerseys. He got a whole wall of just Steelers,
Right.
everything. He's a diehard fan. He got the hats, the jerseys, the classic jerseys. Man, get it
Nah,
out.
I'm glad I'm not in your household, man. Cause
Even
me
in
and
his
pops.
car, he got the Steelers seats, the Steelers steering wheel, everything. Man.
Oh yeah, see, he most definitely ain't gonna like me, man, because I got the Raven flags. You already see I got my little Ravens little
Yeah, I
corner over
see.
here.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? I got my jerseys, I got the hat. My logo is pretty much behind. You started off as
Yeah, yeah, I
the
already see
Ravens
it.
colors.
Yeah,
I'm a die
yeah.
hard. But
I used to get nervous whenever we had to play the Ravens in the playoffs. Yo. It was always a hard fought game. We got the best of y'all though in the playoffs, but yo, when y'all had Joe Flacco, that was a tough team, man. Y'all had Ray Rice,
mhm.
Ray Lewis last couple of years. Like y'all had Suggs, man. Y'all had a good squad.
We most definitely. Did you ever watch that 30 for 30 about us, the Baltimore Bullies?
No, I didn't watch that yet. I heard about it. I do
Uh,
plan on watching it.
it was a dope documentary, man. I understand you ain't a Ravens fan, but I will
No,
most definitely check out that documentary though.
I like checking out things like that. Like, yo, honestly, one of my favorite defensive players growing up. Don't tell nobody I told you. Ed Reed, man. Ed Reed is a dog, yo.
Hold up, say that again.
One of my favorite defensive players in the NFL was Ed Reed, man. Like he was a dog. Listen, I never had beef with the Ravens. My dad is the one that beef with the Ravens.
Nah,
My
I
problem,
just want you to say it again, so when Pops watch this interview, he can be like, "What you
oh,
just say?"
definitely Troy Polamalu too. Shout out to Troy because he was
Oh,
definitely an animal as well.
don't get me wrong. Between him and Ed Reed, man, I believe
Yeah,
those two was like the best safeties during that time, man.
yeah. Troy, yo, you better find out where he is because if you don't see him for a half a second, boom, he coming at you.
He most definitely turned it on when he was playing against Carson Palmer, his old roommate. Boy, he was just taking
Yeah,
pitch pick sticks to the house, man. Um,
yeah.
for the Patriots this upcoming season, man, who you like in the draft? If you pay attention to the draft, or what position do you think that the Patriots most definitely need this upcoming season?
I think we need some better wide receivers, and I think we need a better O line. Uh, I don't know, like I said, it's really some big shoes to fill. When we got a Hall of Fame quarterback and arguably
Hmm.
the greatest NFL player of all time, and just left a team. So like, yeah, you're not gonna get that right away, but we need better pass protection, and we need some better targets to go to. Patriots ain't never known for having a superstar running back. I think Belichick is going to keep this traditional offense of pocket quarterback making plays to win games. So yeah, some better targets and an O line, and we could definitely make some wild card action. Aaron Rodgers just went to the Jets, so it's gonna be hard. Yo, that division is crazy, man. First of all, that division was crazy last year. Like
Mm.
everybody was like over 500. The Patriots was over 500 in the third place. Then you got
Right,
the Buccaneers under 500 in first place.
right.
Like
You know that
it
division
didn't even
sucked
make
down there.
sense. Yeah, the NFC East and the AFC East was the most difficult division because you got the Giants in the playoffs, you got the Cowboys, and you got the Eagles all in the playoffs. Three
Oh,
teams from one division made the playoffs. It's
right.
crazy. Then you got our division. The Jets almost made the playoffs. The Dolphins made the playoffs. The Bills been getting better every year, and they're gonna keep getting better. So honestly, we're just gonna have to be that upset team and just try to win the division, or try to win some outside games of the division that teams in the division lost to,
Hmm.
and we're just gonna have to grind it out. I've accepted the fact that we are rebuilding mode, and it's gonna take some time for us to be that playoff contender that we once was. So I'm not really, worried about it. At the end of the day, like I'm still a fan, and I understand that we're not gonna have any Super Bowl championship like anytime soon. But we got six, and we're tied for the most of all time, so I'm cool with that. I can still talk my smack, you know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
we got six of them. Whenever you talk about the Patriots, I'll be like, yo, but look at how many rings we got. I ain't ready, you know. So,
I heard that. Speaking, of the winning days, do you think Bill Belichick winning days are over, or do you think he's going to
no,
make an adjustment and the Patriots will start winning underneath his belt, or do you think it's time for him to retire, move on?
I think he got too much pride. I think he wants to make at least one more playoff appearance before it's all said and done. And he's a very competitive person. He's trying to beat the record. He's trying to be the greatest coach of all time. And he's going to try. He's trying to build them accolades. He up
Right.
there though. He definitely up there as one of the greatest coaches. But I think he's trying to solidify that before
Okay.
he finish up. Definitely, like when it's all said and done, he might be the number one or top three best coaches in NFL history. Despite the scandals that they had with cheating and all that, unfortunately, that definitely didn't help his
I was
career.
just going to bring that up. What about his cheating
Yeah,
wins?
yeah, that definitely didn't help his career. But that doesn't take away the fact that he's still a good coach, regardless of that. Their scandals. He's still a good coach. He's still a mastermind behind the science of football.
Right.
I wish
Right.
he didn't do that because he still would have been one of the best of all time. I definitely hurt him a little bit, but the NFL has a way of covering up things, so he'll still find his way to being one of the best.
Right. All right, man. Before I wrap this up and let you go, man, let's talk about your nonprofit organization, man. Because when I seen that, man, I think that's dope that you have that, man. Let's get a people what it is and what made you start it. What's the name of the name of your nonprofit organization?
The nonprofit is called Walk a Mile in Our Shoes. Walk a Mile, the letter N, Our Shoes. It's a 501c3. Had a vision of, just giving back to the community. Seeing a lot of homeless people growing up, seeing a lot of poor people, not having the resources they need for survival, and just, to keep pushing forward in life. Once I reached a certain level of success, my goal was to get back to the community and create an organization that brings people together to give back to the community. And that's why I started walking around our shoes in late 2018, early 2019. I just started doing services all around Jersey, you know, just popping up doing service, wasn't really organized. Just I got some shoes. I was on campus. I was in college at the time. I'm
Mm-hmm.
on campus, guys. Like I had a lot of friends in college, a lot of colleagues, a lot of people I knew. I got some, thing that I'm doing where I'm giving away shoes and clothes to people that, in urban cities and areas that have homeless people. I got any sneakers, I got any clothes. People was donating on campus, so I started on the college campus. And, I was able to join a fraternity around that time, and connected my fraternity brothers with the nonprofit organization, and it became the national philanthropy of the organization. And we started building and progressing, and then I made it an official 501c3. And I have an amazing team that I built over the last couple of years that are on the ground running things. and allowing me to pursue my professional basketball career while I orchestrate the community services through meetings and and create the agendas for what the team does, and they just they're on the ground running things, moving things around, and making sure the services are still going on in my absence, and I really appreciate that for that.
Oh man, that's what's up, man. That's real dope, man. Because like I said, when I seen that you had this, man, I was like, man, I really am inspired by you. You know what I mean? By you, reaching out to the community where people is really needing, man. And I would like to be a part of it. Honestly, I would like for my podcast to try to figure out, a lane that how I can play a part in helping you in your organization also, man. So hopefully we can talk about this, offline or
Oh
something in
yeah,
that
for
nature,
sure.
man.
Honestly, like you live in the Baltimore area, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could have my team and now I come out to Baltimore and do some community services too, man. Like we could definitely set that up. We love taking road trips and helping out the community. I'm pretty sure if I bring that up to my team and I'm meeting on Sunday, they would love to, come to Baltimore and do some service. I'm pretty sure there's some, homeless populated areas in Baltimore. I'm
Oh yeah,
sure.
most
You
definitely.
know.
That I believe that us as the people should try to help them out and give them the resources and the tools that they need. So yeah, most definitely, man. We gotta most definitely chop that up offline, man, and make that happen, man. Because like I
Yeah,
said,
that's only like a 2.5, 3 hour trip. We could definitely make that trip happen. We done did services in Virginia, Utah, like Colorado, so like that's definitely not an issue to go to Baltimore.
God, my man right there. That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking
And I'm
about.
a
Yeah.
man of my word, so I would definitely love to come to Baltimore. I got family that lives in Bowie in Maryland, so I don't know exactly how far that is from Baltimore, but
That's only
I
probably
got
like a
family in Maryland.
45 minute, no
Okay.
more than an hour drive. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's nothing. That is most definitely nothing. Yeah, we most definitely going. You hear that, people? Dev and Eugene's most definitely get ready to bring his organization to Baltimore. So stay tuned for that. Stay
Yeah.
tuned. I
I'm gonna have a
cannot wait.
t-shirt ready for you, man. You gotta let me know your size. You gotta set that up for sure. I'm definitely down for that.
Oh yeah, but most definitely I wear size medium. You know what I mean? So you can most definitely start getting that in the works, man. Because yeah, I'm trying to get that in motion, man. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I'm most definitely trying to have MTMO have a community service like that, whether I can help the less fortunate out. I can bring some basketball camps to some of these kids organizations, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That is most definitely my plan.
We on the same type of time then, because I'm actually doing a basketball camp in Jersey in July. So,
Oh, let's talk
um,
about it then. Let's talk about
yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm doing a basketball camp at my university. I'm still plugged in with my coach, and I'm still plugged in with the staff there. So they're
Hmm.
letting me get the gym for a whole day, and I'm doing an all-day camp, free for the kids, giving back to the community, giving out prizes, giving out shirts and stuff, and just teaching the kids the game of basketball, the fundamentals, and just letting them have fun with it. And we do suggest donations for the nonprofit organization. So
Hmm.
the camp is actually hosted by Walk On Our Shoes, and just a way for us to get back to the community and get back to the kids of the future. So we got to do that. Also, there's another basketball camp in the works. We actually might be going to Nigeria to do a basketball camp there.
Oh, that sounds dope.
Yeah, and try to provide the kids in Nigeria with the opportunity to possibly get scholarships to come to America. So we want to bridge that gap. So like I said, like you having that type of vision, that's the same type of time I'm on. So let's do it, bro.
Yeah, I
And,
most definitely, man. I most definitely, I mean, it seems like you can guide me and put me in the right direction. So we're gonna make this happen soon. Because, like I said, I most definitely want to bring the same type of energy that you're bringing, back to my community here in
yeah,
Baltimore. You know what I mean?
and we
So
can collab. Yeah, man. At the end of the day, it's about the community. So like, we just gotta help make our communities a better place.
yes, sir. Y'all, y'all didn't heard it. It's coming soon, Baltimore.
Yes, sir.
Me and my man Gray do it down. So let's tell the people, before we wrap this up, let's tell the people your social media platforms, anywhere that they can reach you, man. Let's have the people follow you.
Yeah, so like my personal social media platform is I am Gene Campbell. I have TikTok, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the same username. I am Gene Campbell. I keep it the same profile picture so everybody knows me. The walk around our shoes is walk a mile, the letter N, not I N, the letter N, our shoes. We have all social media platforms from Twitter to Instagram to Facebook to LinkedIn, and you can keep up with all of our, upcoming calendar events. You can donate. You can reach out to us for collaboration to do future community services. We love to collaborate with other organizations and other people that want to help make the community a better place. So anybody that wants to collaborate with us, please shoot us a DM, shoot us an email at walkamounourshoes@gmail.com. And check out our social media page. You'll definitely love the content. You'll definitely love what we're doing to the community.
Ah, man, that's right, man. People, I'm trying to tell y'all, follow this man, yo. He has a plan, and he's most definitely sticking to it. He has been grinding since day one, and he just told y'all his most definitely his inspirational story, man. So follow him, understand him. I guarantee you, just like how I am, he is a great guy, man. Gene, man, I appreciate you coming on this show, man. I really do from the bottom of my heart for you reaching out to me. You saying like, look, I want to be on your show. We got to make this happen, and
I'll
I
make it
greatly
happen, man.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I greatly
I
appreciate
appreciate you for having me, man. Definitely, I love telling my story and I love inspiring. I love networking, creating opportunities for myself and for other people so we can all grow together. That's the whole point, man. We just gotta help each other grow.
it. Yeah, 100, man. So like I said, man, I appreciate you, man, and most definitely, you anytime you're more than welcome to come back on my platform and chop it up. Hopefully, we can connect real soon to start our
Yeah, that
project.
that's
That
definitely gonna happen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll definitely
yes.
tap it in. Of
So, like I said, man, I appreciate you, man.
course, of course.
All right, man. You have a good one, man. Get some rest, man. Keep balling out there. Keep grinding, man,
I
and
got
keep
you,
doing
man.
your thing, man.
I got you, man.
All right, chop it up with you later, bro.
All right, man.
Yes, sir. Yo, as y'all just see, I just had a dope episode with my man Eugene Campbell, man, and things are coming in the works, man, and I can't wait to have this going and to show y'all what it's all about, man. You, like I said, follow this guy, man. He's a real dope guy, real dope person. So make sure y'all follow that. So as always, y'all already know, man. Tell a friend who could be a friend who could possibly want to be your friend to come follow this show, MTMO baby, because I'm breaking down all the barriers. You feel me? Just make sure y'all come on the platforms and keep showing me the love. Subscribe, share, like, all that. You know what I mean? You can always find me on YouTube. You can find me on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and the list goes on. You feel me? Make sure y'all check out my social media platform. Make sure you go check out my Instagram at MTMO underscore sports podcast. It's gonna give y'all what's going on in the sports world. It's gonna give y'all what episode I'm on, little clips of my episode. Make sure y'all go follow my Facebook and my Twitter page at my THTS my opinion. You feel me? It's gonna give y'all the same thing as my Instagram. And also, y'all make sure y'all go follow my TikTok at MTMO underscore sports podcast. You feel me? While I'm sitting here shouting out, man, make sure y'all go follow the network that MTMO is on. The Grid, you feel me? That's spelled GRYD. Make sure y'all go follow the Grid on all our social media platforms. You feel me? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Make sure you go follow because we got all the dope stuff that you need. You feel me? As far as in the sports world, you got your MMA, you got your Mets, you got your Jets, you got your Commanders, you got your all around general sports. Just make sure you check us out, yo. It's a real dope network. You feel me? And little just a little drop a little puzzle. You feel me? A little secret, man. It's another show coming along on that Grid network. Can't wait to tell y'all what that is soon. You feel me? So make sure y'all just follow the grid, man. It's gonna give y'all everything that I'm this telling y'all about. Make sure y'all go follow my favorite ladies, Locked in Sports. Lucky 13 is out right now. You know what I mean? Just keep on following them and watch them grow. Two dope young ladies drinking wine, talking sports, talking that ish. You feel me? Make sure you go check them out. Make sure you check out my man Raw Uncensored Network and podcast. You feel me? My man always kicking that ish. You feel me? So make sure y'all go check him out. And as always, baby, check me out.